Superior Central High School is a school located in Wisconsin. In the 1920s, Raymond E. McBride staged a walkout there. Years later, he would often tell his story to his son Joseph. It became a favorite of his, and became the inspiration for the film that he would eventually write, Rock and Roll High School. In the 1980s, low-budget movie producer Roger Corman was looking to make a film that was similar to the teen culture movies he had produced in the late 50s and early 60s. For this project, he had enlisted director Alan Arkush and a young Joe Dante, who would later find success with The Burbs, Gremlins, and Small Soldiers. The story was about students using music to take down their corrupt school principal. Original titles for the movie were Disco High, Girls Gym, and Heavy Metal Kids. Each of these obviously would have taken the film's music in a much different direction than the finished product. For the band featured in the film, their original choice was Todd Rundgren, who turned them down, a decision he would later regret. Their next choice was Cheap Trick, who wanted to do the project, but couldn't settle on a schedule or contracts. Tom Petty turned it down as well. From here, they began looking at artists under the Warner Brothers label. Devo was a frontrunner, but it was decided that they had their own image that they couldn't really work into the movie. Van Halen were also considered, but later dropped when executives warned the production of their wild behavior. Eventually, the Ramones got brought up. They were a favorite of the director, and they agreed to do it. For the high school in the film, they shot at the abandoned Mount Carmel High School in South Central Los Angeles. The lead role of Riff Randall was given to PJ Soles, who had previously been in Halloween.
And the dance is at 8. I'll be totally wiped out.
I don't think you have enough to do tomorrow.
Totally.
To prepare for the role, she was given copies of the Ramones' music to listen to. She wasn't a fan, but admits that eventually she warmed up to them. The budget, as with any Corman movie, was almost non-existent, so she had to buy her own wardrobe. For the principal, they got Mary Warnov, who had been in a number of low-budget films. They also hired her longtime collaborator Paul Bartel to play the music teacher. Clint Howard's role was originally offered to Eddie Deason, but he was unavailable. The radio DJ was played by actual radio host Don Steele, who had been in the previous Corman film Death Race, and would play the DJ in Joe Dante's Gremlins. The giant rat was played by special effects artist Rob Bottin, who would eventually create the effects for Gremlins and John Carpenter's The Thing. Also featured is Corman regular Dick Miller, whose famous line,
"Those Ramones are peculiar. They're ugly people,"
was improvised. Joe Dante and the director have cameos as well. The budget was so low that the Ramones were paid only $25,000 and had to do shows in the area to cover their expenses. During filming, Dee Dee Ramone was so bad at doing dialogue, he had to have his lines cut to only yelling about pizza. His luck didn't improve when he got in a fight, was arrested, overdosed while in jail, and ended up in the hospital. Many of the extras were music journalists who got to do on-site interviews with the band. The concert in the movie was real, and got so out of control that it terrified PJ Soles. At the end of the film, the destruction of the high school is real. The explosions were so massive that it woke the local neighbors and even scared some of the crew away. The soundtrack to the film is amazing and features not only tracks by the Ramones, but also Richie Valens, Nick Lowe, Brian Eno, Devo, Eddie and the Hot Rods, Brownsville Station, Chuck Berry, Todd Rundgren, Alice Cooper, Fleetwood Mac, MC5, the Paley Bros, Velvet Underground, Huey Lewis, and even Paul McCartney. McCartney had written Did We Meet Somewhere Before for the Warren Beatty film Heaven Can Wait, but it wasn't used. They were able to get the track for only $500, as long as they didn't give Paul an on-screen credit. The soundtrack released only sadly contains a fraction of these tracks. It doesn't even contain all the tracks by the Ramones featured in the movie. The movie was released on August 24th in 1979, and thanks to its low budget and drawing power of the Ramones, it was a success. It was released multiple times on VHS and DVD, and eventually was given a special edition Blu-ray from Shout Factory. It even got a sequel in 1997. In 2008, Alex Winter of Bill and Ted was working on a remake for Howard Stern, but it never materialized. I remember seeing this movie on TCM as a freshman in high school, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, what kid wouldn't want to cause total anarchy with their favorite band? It's not only essential viewing for Ramones fans, but anybody who likes classic teen comedies. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help support this channel, like, share, comment, subscribe, check out my old videos, and I will see you guys next time.